Lee, can we move my agenda to the second or third?
Okay.
Because I haven't set up the demo.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, that should work.
Nice. Hey, Anita, Ruth had said that she had just messaged. I'm not sure if she was saying it would be best if she went toward the end or if she went toward the beginning. So I'm not.
Sorry?
Ruth had messaged in Slack saying that, well, that it had been raining a lot where she is. And I think she was saying that it might be better if she gave her update toward the end, but I don't know. And I figured you.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh, okay. All right, good. And then Anita, to the extent that she wasn't able to connect, I wonder if this is a topic you might feel comfortable speaking to. Think about it. You'll have a little bit of time.
Okay. All right. So am I to start immediately?
Nope. You've got, I think you have about 30 minutes maybe to yeah. Get to collect your notes, get your speaking cards together to, get to.
Sure.
Oh my goodness, we have 2 Lee Kelcoats on today. That's terrible. Adi, I suspect you are accidentally signed into the, what do you call it? The community account. Weird, okay. All right, one more minute and we're gonna get rolling. Or less than a minute, maybe. All right, welcome everybody. We're 5 after. Still have a few people rolling in. Maybe closing in on 15 folks now. I'm expecting quite a few more actually, just because we've had a few people joining, a couple of people more than usual. And that's in part because, well, that's a few different reasons. In part because some of the work that you all are doing here in the community is being recognized in various ways. One of those ways is that we had said a couple of weeks ago that what Meshery is the #1 sought after internship program in the LFX, in the Linux Foundations program. And so there's been some people coming in interested in what that means. And then just people coming in part because Meshery and Service Mesh Performance, those two projects are up for donation into the CNCF. And so they are tentatively accepted, or they are very much desired projects. And we can talk about what tentative means later. But for sure they're going in, I guess, is the better way of stating that. Part of the question is just in what form and how. So good. Well, if you're on the call, please do slap your name into the meeting minutes. That way we can account for you. You can get credit. At the end of the year, we tally up everyone who has credit and we say thank you. But no, we should do something. We should, at the end of the, at some point we should send out, there's a stack of t-shirts over here. And many of you, when you join the community, you end up getting asked for your physical address. At some point we're gonna, well, we've made use of physical addresses in the past. We've sent out books and cards and stickers and t-shirts and things. COVID really slowed a lot of that down. But nice to see a few new faces. One of the traditions that we have in the community is to get introduced bidirectionally to people who have joined a call for the first time. And there are, well, we have a call every day in the community. On Thursdays, sometimes 2 calls. There's just a lot going on. And there's a lot of you out there who are making an impact. So if you're on the call for the first time today, it's your lucky day. You get to say hi and introduce. I'll call out maybe a couple of you, just starting from A to Z, I guess. So Akash, Mr. Akash, do you want to say hi and introduce yourself?
Hi, Lee. I'm audible?
Yeah.
So, hi everyone. I'm Akash. I'm a final student from Bangalore, India. And I'm mostly into Node.js, Go, and front-end JavaScript, React. What I do beside this, I'm also GitHub Campus expert. I do organize hackathons. I've attended more than 10 plus hackathons, and I've been speaker mentors for many of these. So, and we are also currently contributing to GitHub docs. So technical writing, something which I'm also exploring. Yeah, but just happy to be here.
Nice, nice, good. Wait, I missed you said you had competent or an expert at, and I missed the technology that you said.
Like GitHub has this student ambassador, some sort of program. Yeah, like whole world they select like 100 every year, and to build the student community and teach them about open source and all. So that's what I do. I learn about Node.js, Docker, and everything, and then go and speak in hackathons.
Oh, nice, nice, cool. Oh, very cool. Yeah, there's lots of Docker that goes on here. As a matter of fact, there are maybe more Docker captains in the Layer5 Slack than anywhere else other than the Docker Slack. So that's kind of nice. So you're in good company. Nice to have you, Akash.
Thank you.
Deepika, you're up next.
Yeah, hi Erin. So I'm Deepika. So I'm working with VMware. So I have around 12 years of experience. And mostly my work exposure is in the C, C++, networking, control plane, data plane communication, security protocols, and I have earlier experience of 3GPP protocols and all. So I'm work on the VPN development and also on Docker container communication sort of when it comes into day-to-day work.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I take it Husseina.
Yes, she is in my team. I just got to know later on. So she works with me. We both are in the same team.
Oh, cool. Good. Yeah. If any friend of Husseina's is certainly a friend here. So I understand. Actually, Husseina, like two of her sisters and her mom are that COVID has come around their house. So our prayers have been with us this last week. She's been keeping us up to date. So yeah, nice, good. You said a number of very relevant things. You said control plane in there. You said data plane. You said protocols, networking, VPN.
Yeah.
You might have said some things like, well, some protocols specific to VPN.
I work on IPsec and SSR I worked previously, and 3GPP, this 3G, 4G communications. Those protocols I have a prior experience. LT, core, and that.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, just I'll have to tell you a story. Well, Deepika, nice to have you. Thanks for joining. This is great.
Yeah, it's good to join.
Yeah, there's you stand to make quite the impact, I think, or like there's so much of this has to do with network or service mesh in general, and that kind of technical focus has to do with your prior 12 years of focus. There's been a few folk that Microsoft has been involved in this project, and they were quite interested from the perspective of 5G, and particularly around the service mesh performance project. And we'll have to tell you more about what they were doing, but nice, good. And then we've got Fonji is with us, which is good. But we also have Ikra. If I
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. So my name is Ikra, and I am a postgraduate student at University of Liverpool here in the United Kingdom. And I have had a bit open source contribution experience back in 2018 as a Google Summer of Code intern and also as a Google Code and mentor. But during my current degree program, I am working on information retrieval and machine learning. Right now, I am also trying to learn JavaScript front-end frameworks. So I just want to increase my contributions in the open source space. So I came across Layer5 community and it seemed very welcoming. So yeah.
Good. We'll have to prove that out. We'll have to prove that that's the case.
Yeah.
Nice. There's there is a meeting on Mondays. It's called the websites meeting, but there are a number of different JavaScript centric frameworks and initiatives that are discussed there that you might find intriguing. We might talk about one of them today. I'm not sure, but
okay.
Yeah, very nice to have you. Yeah. I noticed you're not toting around the British accent either. So.
Well, I'm basically from Pakistan, so yeah, I don't have the British accent. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I mean I don't know. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Like the bad thing is like to us Americans, like anyone who has a British accent, it's like an automatic +10 to their IQ. It just makes them sound smarter for some reason. Okay. Nice. Good. Next up is Ishita.
Hi everyone, I am Ishita. I am from India. I am in the pre-final year of my college and I am comfortable with Flutter. and I'm interested in front-end technologies and currently learning React.js. Thank you.
Beautiful. Nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. But by the way, both for Ikra and Ishita, well, I'm not sure. There's a link that probably everyone here should see at some point if you haven't seen it already. It's a lot of times we talk about the projects that are going, well, we always talk about the projects that are going on. But one of the ways in which we don't always discuss them is just like sort of purely in terms of an overview of their tech, like, hey, which ones of these use React.js, or which ones of the projects do use a specific technology? Sometimes it's nice to consider them from that perspective, because it might be like the tech that actually that's attractive, or it might be the problem that's trying to be solved that's attractive, or sometimes it's just the people that are working on it. And I'll put a link to this doc in the meeting minutes, but also in the chat. Some of what I'm saying here is very, very much so covered in the Thursday newcomers meetings as well. So I won't steal the thunder from that meeting, but I'll just drop a link there, because sometimes it's nice to browse by tech. So nice to have you, Ishita. And Ishita, I think you might be breaking a record. Like, I think you're on the agenda already. So we'll circle back to you. And Joy is with us, Navindu, Piyush, and a bunch of old timers. All right, good, nice. Well, there's some topics lined up today, and thankfully most of them don't have my name next to them. So, but first up is Aditya.
Hello, everyone.
Aditya, by the way, just Aditya happens to be signed in as the same the community account for Zoom.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The CNCF sponsors this Zoom account that we're using.
Okay,
And so
leave and join it from my account.
Yeah, just so that everyone doesn't think that I'm talking twice. Or...
Yeah, sure.
Nice. Okay, so Aditya is coming back, but so Aditya also goes by Adi. I learned just yesterday, which is so much easier for my tongue to pronounce. But he wanted to talk about an activity that he's been organizing a bit. Ruth and Anita and some of the other community managers have helped organize blog posts, or and there are a number of them. I think Aditya is going to get us organized a little bit around some potential upcoming posts. So if you look on the Layer5 IO site, which by the way is built by 160 of you have contributed to this site, and it's clearly open source. There's two initiatives that are going forth on this Layer5 IO site, one of which I was thinking Ikra might be interested in. It's one that has to do with really expanding out the learning section into like what would be a light learning management system. So more on that on Monday, I guess. But point is, there's a number of blogs here, and there aren't nearly enough. Some of the blogs are about the people that are here and what they've done. Some have done a lot. Some of the blogs are about people's experience. Just as a matter of fact, there was another nice, pleasant young woman carrying the same first name as Ishita, but was studying here in the US. And so she had actually presented part of her, it wasn't a thesis, but it was just one of her projects had been done on Meshry. And so anyway, it's blogs. There's lots of different types of blogs to write. So I don't think, oh yeah. So Aditya, if you're back, do you want to speak to this? Just sort of
Yes. Sorry, I'm back. So I'll just share my screen. Yeah. Yeah. So hello everyone. We have a special channel for this. That's Blog Kitchen, where we discuss about upcoming or future blogs regarding to layer5.io blog. Yeah. So all the blogs which are in this content calendar will be coming up in here. So okay, I guess I stopped my screen sharing. Sorry. Yeah. So according to this calendar, Chinmay had taken up one blog, and then Anita had taken up one blog. Okay, and now as Ishita had specifically mentioned her interest in writing blogs, I guess she would have gone through all of the blogs here, all of the topics. So if she's interested, she can write any of the topic. I guess that's all. And I wanted update. I wanted the blog update from Chinmay and Anita.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. Chinmay isn't on at the moment, but
Okay.
but Anita is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm currently writing the report from the She Code Africa contribution that took place last month into early this month.
Okay.
I would drop it in the Google Doc once it's ready on my end for reviews. That will be this weekend.
Okay, sure.
That's awesome. And actually, so Anita, were you able to grab a couple of screenshots from, well, I forget the name of the session, but the session wherein all of the mentees kind of presented what they had accomplished over the month? And I suspect you'll have a place to fit those into your blog post.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for all the reports and feedbacks from the mentees and participants from the She Code Africa.
Nice.
So I would include that too in the blog post.
Cool. Cool. There's a lot to talk about. It's nice.
So I guess that's all about regarding the blogs. Ishita, if you are interested in any of the blogs, do comment my mail ID or inform anyone over Blog Kitchen channel. We'll get it assigned to you.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I will write there about topic.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I guess that's all from my end.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Ari. Good deal. Yeah, writing a blog post is helpful to all, helpful to getting some of the word out about things that you all are doing. What's nice about something that's been written and published is it stays there and it's referenceable for a long time to come. Unlike Slack messages that seem to disappear after about a month. Cool. All right. Well, so we just noted that Chinmay isn't on the call. I'm going to move this down just in case he joins later. If he doesn't join, I'll speak to it. Instead, Navendu, that brings your topic up. Well, actually, just before you jump into that, Ruth, you were saying there's some poor network connectivity. Are you good to, do we need to have you speak now about the Grace Hopper hackathon?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. My network is spiked. I've been jumping off and on. So, hi everybody. The Hopper conference is a female conference that gathers all females in tech globally. So there is a particular runs for 3 to 4 days, but there's a particular day dedicated to open source called Open Source Day. So it's like all-day hackathon, there's workshops, and for people get like contribute to projects. They are mentors, right? So projects are displayed, and the attendees or participants pick these projects, and mentors guide them to these projects. So I'm part of the committee for Open Source Day this year. So I sent an invite for Layer5 to participate, get our female maintainers and also get some mentors to participate in this proper Open Source Day. So basically, we bring our projects and get mentors. Mentors will the mentors, and attendees get to pick if they want to contribute to their 5 projects, right? And then the mentors are there for them, like throughout that day, like the day long. So the mentors will be there on site, on class, answering questions. So as part of this program, was as a mentor for last year. So how it basically works is, as a mentor, you get to answer questions from attendees that are contributing to your project, right? Like this first issue played, and then you get to answer questions in class. If needs be, you get to go on a Zoom meet or try to explain stuff. It just happens for a day. So basically, I'll be connecting with you later on the projects we want to sample at OS. Projects want to sample at the proper conference. This happened in October. So then we talk about mentors, and I think if you're interested in participating in this, you can also ping me or me. Like I know I would also join part with coordinating the program just for contribution from SPA. So, and also we can I think we can pick up female maintainers to make like the work done by female maintainers, and it's a big conference that we would love to participate in. Yeah.
Beautiful. Ruth, thank you for that. I know that it was difficult to hear Ruth for portions of that. I can't help but recap very briefly, just because it would be nice if any one of you are participating in this, whether you're there as a participant to contribute and work on projects, or you're there to mentor those participants. There are any number of, and whether that's on Layer 5 projects or just in general, but there's any number of beginner-friendly open issues on Layer 5 projects that you can go and help represent Layer 5, help mentor others. So it sounds like Ruth was on the program committee last year. She continues forth this year, and she's trying to make sure that, well, Ruth and Anita both just got done engaging Layer 5 in the She Code Africa internship program this last month. Anita is busy writing that up, what the experiences were. And so along comes Ruth, brings us yet another place to go engage, and particularly engage with female engineers. So cool. I guess part of the thing is if you've got questions, certainly see Ruth, and let's do it. I mean, Ruth, as we draw closer to the start date, if there are small things that we can be doing to help kind of prepare or maybe curate certain issues on the projects, or if we can help for kind of call for, I shouldn't say not we, but you inside the community can also make a call for mentors. And I know you had a number of people sign up to mentor and for She Code Africa, and they did. And so here's another opportunity. And no doubt Anita is involved here as well. So nice.
Okay, so I think I would get in conversation with you of the projects you want to, put up at this conference. Then I'll do maybe a call out for mentors, and we would encourage female mentors. Although yeah, we can also encourage female mentors to step up for it. So I would get back to you, because we are still trying to set up everything from our end. So we also need to get on a call with the project representative and a whole lot of that stuff. So yeah, definitely there'll be a call out.
Cool. Nice. This is it's exciting. It's good. And the thing is there are, well, there's like about half of you on the call right now that are, I think, yeah, anyway, they're also seasoned female engineers that can help, which is nice. And I think Ruth's message was it's a bonus if the more ladies that are involved, and part of the point of the sorry, it's a bonus if there are ladies involved to help mentor, and part of the initiative itself is just is to help get women involved. So okay, next topic is over to you, Navendia, on Meshri CTL.
Yeah, I'll start with the meeting we have scheduled for tomorrow. So I guess some of you might have seen this, but like tomorrow we are scheduled a Meshri CTL bug hunt meeting. So we are moving towards the 0.6 release. So Meshri CTL will have some bugs, that is evident. So we are planning to have a meeting tomorrow, and the timing is mentioned in the meeting minutes, I guess. And this will be to identify bugs and assign people those bugs so that we can easily fix them. Yeah, so everyone who is on the call is welcome to join the meeting, and even if you are new to this community or new to Golang or Meshri CTL, there might be some good first issues that you can pick up and fix. So yeah, I think it's on the Layer5 calendar, and I think everyone should have been invited to the meeting. So yeah, that's one part. And yeah, I will demo some recent changes in Meshri CTL. So currently I'm running Meshri CTL on the Kubernetes platform. So, and it's running perfectly. And so I have been working on the system status command. So a user can get the status of their Meshri deployment with this command, and let's say they need to get the logs from the Meshri CTL deployments, and they can do something like this, or they can get specific logs from a specific Meshri component. So you can do something like this. So it will get logs from the Istio deployment in Meshri. So yeah, that's one thing. And we also recently fixed some bugs. One of that is Meshri CTL system restart. So what it does is it will restart Meshri by restarting all the pods, and we can get that here, I guess. So I don't know why it's taking so long, but so essentially we can essentially like we have been kind of fixing a lot of bugs these past weeks, and and I'm sure there will be a lot more bugs. So yeah, if you are interested, join our meeting tomorrow. Back to you, Lee.
Nice. Nice. Who's coming tomorrow? Don't be shy, Piyush.
I may come.
And very good. Nice. Jabril will be there. Very good. Howdy. Good. So just a quick recap. Actually, the link that Navendu just shared in the chat is it's this link here. So the command line client that, by the way, the Mesh3CTL command line client is like the easiest way to get into that project, is the easiest way to get into Golang here in this community anyway, in part because you get to write just a small bit of Golang and interact with it right away because it's a command line client. So you just start interacting with what you created. And each of the commands, so Meshri, if you go to start Meshri, it's Meshri-CTL system start. And each of these commands or the sub commands are the code and the amount of concerns that you need to understand and reason over is somewhat constrained because each command is self-contained, like or more or less self-contained, and somewhat each of the commands end up being fairly short, like 100 lines or less, or somewhere in there, and some are longer than others, and etc. But and they tend to be somewhat procedural in nature as well. So yeah, there's some object oriented. I mean, like it's all object oriented, but it reads procedurally, so it's easy enough to grok. Like both the logic space is easy enough to understand and grok, and then the Golang that gets used is fairly straightforward. So anyway, great place to jump in. Tomorrow there's a call. It's on the community calendar. You're all welcome. It's also easy to jump into because you don't have to write Golang to be extremely impactful here. You can just be a user, be a whiny user, be a complaining and critical user, saying, you're executing this command and you don't like the output, or it doesn't make sense to you, or it didn't work. Like that's exactly what's being looked for. So, and the nice thing too is since Meshri runs as a set of containers, that you end up spending time on either Docker or Kubernetes, because you can deploy Meshri to either one. And so if either of these two technologies, whether you're familiar with or not, it's nice to get in there. A couple of other things. There's a lot of individuals in the community that have either Mac OS or Linux OS, and there are some that have Windows, or some that have both. For whatever, well, I guess I shouldn't say for whatever reason, but in part because the cloud native ecosystem and Docker containers and Linux things have been fairly Linux centric, that there isn't as much testing that has been done for running Mesh3CTL on Windows. So Mesh3CTL, like we said, written in Golang, when it's built, that statically compiled single binary Mesh3CTL, it's built to be compatible with different operating systems and different architectures. And so, so there's a version that's just for Windows. And one of the things that we've done, that various contributors have done in the past, is when they've written the code for a particular command, some of the code, like maybe it looks to the files, the local file system. Maybe mesh-rectl does that. And when they wrote those, they wrote them in context of Linux and not being Windows friendly, like in the file path. And there's various examples of that. I think most of those are cleaned up. I mean, I think what we want to try to do is like turn all of these green, all these green, like to test the compatibility. And so, yeah, so anyway, it's a good, whether you want to do Golang or you just want to get more familiar with using Mesh-tree and Kubernetes and Docker and maybe deploy some service meshes. So that deployment of service meshes brings us to, well, a little bit to the discussion around Mesh-tree's roadmap. So that's, I think that's kind of, we've got two topics up next. So one is about interactive labs, and one is about the roadmap. I'm just going to cover this small one here about Mesh-tree's roadmap. So Mesh-tree's roadmap, by the way, there's a few different ways to look at it. If you go out to the repo for Mesh-tree, there's a roadmap.md. It's extremely concise and starts at what's basically the current public-facing release. We're on 0.5.12 right now. And these things were just released. Asuko, one of the maintainers, had written up a nice blog post that describing these things. And so most of you that are on the call are currently trying to advance the 0.6.0 release. The roadmap right now is broken down a little bit by kind of core Mesh-tree server capabilities and mesh-rectl, the command line client capabilities. So there are some of you that are working on creating a command called pattern, mesh-rectl pattern. Actually, what's not listed here that some of you are working on is mesh-rectl filter. So Piyush or anyone else that wants to add a bullet point here, please do. We should call out filter as one of the commands. There's another, and actually Jubril, you were recently looking at mesh-rectl mesh. What is that command? Let's go look. It's an underdeveloped command, mesh. It doesn't have much to it. As a matter of fact, it's really missing all of what the point of this command is to be. There's a current subcommand that was written a long time ago. It sort of moved out of experimental and into, and it's really not working very well. And so Jubril, I think you're going to take a look at this validate command. But the reason I wanted to bring up this mesh-rectl mesh is because, well, for let me share my whole screen maybe. Is like, for one of the more noteworthy things that Mesh-tree does is manage service meshes, right? That's kind of what the project is about. I mean, that is what the project is about. And there's a lot to that. Part of managing a service mesh means installing one or deleting one or configuring one after it's been provisioned. And inside of Mesh-tree's UI, which, by the way, is just another client. The UI is a client, just like mesh-rectl is a client. The UI is written in React. It uses Next.js. It uses Billboard.js. It uses Chart.js. It uses Cytoscape.js. It uses a lot of JS. And I'm bringing it up because we have this awkwardness between the two clients. This UI client, Mesh-tree UI, it uses the same REST APIs that mesh-rectl uses as a command line client. This is a command line client. This is a browser-based user client. Well, in the UI, this client, it can provision service meshes. It can install them and delete them and manage them and do various things and all kinds of nerd knobs that are fun to just kind of sit here and click back and forth just to see what happens. Well, so there's an inequity happening here between Mesh3 CTL, this client, and this client. This one can't provision a service mesh. That sounds terrible when I say it. That's to say that you cannot use Mesh3 CTL to say like, oh, I would like to run Istio or something, like install the service mesh called Istio or whatever that command is. I'm making it up because there is no such command. We need this, or we need this, or we need whatever that verb is going to be. We need a design spec for what that's going to be. And so any of you can create a design spec. Oof. When you're in the Layer5 community drive, there's a template for creating those. I think it's in the community folder under templates. There's a document that even tells you how to create it, which is nothing more than just making a copy of this template here to write out like, hey, what should that command be? Like, what would be the most friendly way of a user using Mesh3 CTL to start a service mesh? So I thought I would call that out in context of the roadmap, because here it is right here. We collectively, all of us are sitting, we're actively trying to create this and deliver on these items, and looking forward in the very near future, because we're hopefully 3 weeks-ish away, 4 weeks maybe from hitting this. And so we should start to think about what should that syntax be, what all operations need supported. One way of thinking about it is, well, what all operations need supported. One way of thinking about it is, well, whatever is in the UI, whatever this client can do, that client should probably generally be able to do. So here's, yeah, installing and deleting a service mesh, sure. Also, here's a bunch of other operations. What verbs and nouns and flags and subcommands and things should we have to do this? So, all right, so I've put the gauntlet down, I guess. That's the, cool, okay. So maybe we can talk more about roadmap. Before we do, I want to highlight something else that might be of interest to hopefully all of you. So some of the tech that we're talking about is interesting unto its own. Some of it's like extraordinarily foreign, and what the hell is a service mesh? I don't know. By the way, if that's a question that you would ask yourself, what the heck is a service mesh? There's a bunch of resources to tell you what those are, and there's a couple of free books actually that you should ask about, or just go find on the Layer5.io site. They're there. One of the other things that's free is some interactive labs to go learn what a mesh is. And so what I wanted to do is highlight that some effort has been put in to make some interactive labs, but there hasn't been a lot of feedback on them. And I suspect we've got some bugs. And Chinmay, who's on the call now, he and I were just talking about these, and the fact that the source code for these interactive labs that I'll show, the source code is in one of the public facing repositories. It's fairly straightforward. So here's the collection of interactive labs that we have right now. There's 7 of them, not very many. We actually need a lot more. So if this is of interest to you, there's a long list of interactive labs to create. I'll show you what those look like. These interactive labs, some of you are very familiar with this Katacoda system. So so these are real environments that you can go interact with that will spin up a Kubernetes instance and let you deploy Meshery, and it'll kind of take you through the steps by which you, oops, let me go back. The steps by which you would deploy Meshery, get started with it, deploy a service mesh, play with it, and kind of teach you very, different things about, well, Kuma in this case. And these probably have bugs, like I was saying. So it's both a good way of learning about the projects and also raising some bugs and potentially fixing them yourself. Because this is the source code for those labs. And it's not very deep. Like, here's the lab that's called performance testing with Meshery. One of them is running a performance test. And so it's just these steps. It's actually, it looks like it's, this content here is the very same content that you see that we were just looking at in the lab itself. So this is nice. This is, so any fixes that are done here and code or text that's merged here will automatically show up in the interactive labs. The interactive labs are out here. I think the URL is /layer5. And so there's, total of 7 scenarios. This is the exact same thing that we were just looking at. We're just iframing them on the Layer5 IO site. So all right. Anyway, maybe it's harder to show. Anyway, in the background is the same lab. So any interest from folks? Anybody has anyone used these? Does anyone not like them because they're ephemeral environment because they kind of go away? Or is that really attractive to you because you can't hurt anything? You can do whatever you want inside of that environment and it's going to go away anyway. Jubril. So yeah, Jubril, were you going to say anything by chance?
Yeah, I will actually type it out in chat. But yeah, I think it's great because I can break stuff and I don't have to worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. And so, yeah, so part of what we'll be doing, we talk more about on Mondays, but is expanding all of this learning content into like learning paths. And part of those paths will have different courses, different sections, and they will have interactive labs embedded within them. And so they will see use. Okay. So we've got about 6 minutes left. There's a big old long 8 hours of roadmap that we could talk about. Before I just keep monologuing, I'll pause and say, who's got questions or topics or things that we should discuss?
Actually, I looked at the mesh validate command that has a bug right now, and I'm not sure where to start because I'm a bit confused.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Yeah. Let me. Yeah. So I'll repeat back what Jubril was just saying. So So Jibril is creating a GitHub action or a set of GitHub workflows that would hopefully be turned into a GitHub action, which, by the way, if that interests you, go see Jibril or go join the Thursday call for the CI meetings. One of the things one of the use cases that Jibril is working on for a GitHub action is the fact that Meshery, well, it's the official tool for qualifying whether or not a given service mesh adheres to this open specification, SMI. SMI is an open spec. It's within the CNCF right now. And it is a set of abstract APIs to say, hey, if you want to talk to a service mesh, just use this standard set of APIs. And that way you can talk to any type of service mesh, which is, as you would imagine, very well aligned with Meshery. That's what Meshery is about as well. Single interface, administer lots of different service meshes. And so Meshery's been a partner project, and Layer5 has been a partner community to SMI. Recently, we announced that Meshery is the official tool for verifying this conformance. Great. Well, as each of the service meshes that are compatible with SMI, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 on this page, but there's a 6th one, Nginx service mesh. There's a lot of red here. If anyone's interested as to why, I'll explain it later. But in order to empower each of these open source teams, with the ability to validate their service mesh, their project as being conformant to SMI, we want to make it easy for them to do that and provide them with, let them embed Meshery into their continuous integration pipeline. And one way to easily invoke a conformance test is to use the Meshery CLI. And right now, the CLI command to do that, to invoke a conformance test, well, is this one. It's the only subcommand for Meshery CTL mesh, which is what we were just talking about. There's one called validate, and it's intended to invoke that SMI conformance test. It was written a long time ago by a developer or a contributor that's isn't active in the community right now. So it's time to refresh it and update it. So Jibril, you were just saying, hey, it's not quite evident to you where to start on that, like how to. So I'll say this, that functionally, or behaviorally or functionally, the way that this command desires to work is that eventually Meshery will validate a few different things. There's another specification that it will validate as well. Right now, it's just focused on SMI. Meshery will validate any of the service meshes. So this command takes a flag like what adapter or what type of service mesh did you want to verify the SMI specification against. While you're invoking this, probably it'll require that you provide your user token. So conceptually, a command like this is what gets invoked. This command, like every other Meshery CTL command, should be interacting with Meshery server. Meshery server's REST API. As you go to familiarize with this area of the code, Meshery CTL, this is the Meshery repo, Meshery CTL code resides in here. The top level commands are broken down into these folders. So here's the mesh command. It only has one, it only has one subcommand called validate. That's the one we were just looking at. And so this is the area to begin to, or the code to begin to dig into. It looks like it wants to interact with this REST endpoint /API/mesh/ops, that would be on your, when you're running Meshry, the REST API that you'll call is or rather that is the endpoint /API/mesh/ops in this case. And this, I expect this will break because it's not meant to work against GET. There are other APIs that are like system version. So, okay, this one's not responding, probably because, let's see.
Maybe you can see it.
Yeah, anyway, Jubril, does that help at all with getting you oriented?
Yeah, it does. Is there some kind of documentation for the endpoint?
Oh, Jubril, say it one more time. I couldn't hear you.
Documentation for the endpoint.
You have documentation for the endpoint? Nope.
Yeah.
But who's working on that right now? Somebody just signed up to. So there's no, there isn't. There's only a minor set of API documentation. It's been an open issue for quite some time. I forget, someone just signed up to help with that. But the command, what it needs to work is that if you want to test Istio's compatibility, for example, with this spec, you will first need to use Meshry to deploy Istio. So first you'll run Meshry, go in there, install Istio, and then come back and run this command. And the thing is like I was just saying earlier on the call is this UI is a client just like Meshry CTL. And this client, it has the ability to look at conformance tests and to invoke conformance tests. So you can look at what the UI is doing as a client of that same API. And so it's right here. If you want to validate the service mesh configuration, you can click to run SMI conformance, which in this case will probably fail because I didn't first provision an instance of Istio. So Jubril, look here. This is a client that's doing it already. Cool. Good, I hope that
helps.
Nice. Cool. Good, yeah, we're mostly just trying to replicate what the UI is doing on the CLI. So. Well, we're at time. Anybody have anything else? Nice. Cool. All right. Well, I suspect that we'll see a few of you tomorrow for the Meshry CTL bug hunt. Is it a bring your own weapon? Like, are automatic machine guns allowed? Like, are there any rules? Just want to double check. I got a machete. I think I'll go grab that. All right, cool. Thank you all. See you later. See you next week.
All right.
Bye guys.
Bye everyone.